All right, good afternoon. I am here to show off to you on how AirWatch Teach and Learn today. So AirWatch Teach is a great way that you can control the content on iPads for your students. AirWatch Teach is the one that's going to push the content down. AirWatch Learn is the app that your students are going to receive. Now, what you have to do to get this set up first is you need to have a pre-existing AirWatch administrator make you an administrator for your school group ID. And the directions for those were posted, and I could share them again at the end of this video, and they'll probably be in the description of this video too, on how you have to get that set up. But that still has to be done through the AirWatch site first. Once you get associated with your appropriate school, then you can start to create a class and set things up. So I have a couple iPads here. I'm not going to be able to do AirWatch, or I should say Air Server, and stream this directly to the screen, because I think if I were to stream it, you probably won't see it as well. So what we'll just have to do is we'll do things the old-fashioned way and just put it up for you. So here's a student account, and you can see that on this student, they are in the AirWatch Learn app. And by default, they start off with this little yellow-green screen, and it has a little guitar player right there. And really, the only thing that the student needs to do the first time that they use this program is they click on, they should have AirWatch Agent or AirWatch MDM on their iPad, and hopefully it's a default thing in most of the Horry County Schools iPads. They click on that one app, they should have 3 green checks. And once those green checks are all good to go, then they want to make sure that they can click on AirWatch Learn. So I'm going to hit my home button, I'm going to start it. And so there's Agent, there's first, it's a blue shield, you want to make sure that's on there. And AirWatch Learn has a couple little shapes up there that you can get to, and you can see AirWatch Learn on the screen, it's right there. I click on Learn, and now if this is my first time using this, I would hit that little plus, and I would search my teacher's class. And now here I have the teacher iPad. And again, the teacher, the same thing. The teacher had to make sure that they had AirWatch MDM/Agent on their iPad. And this is a very important thing to know, is that the teachers must get Agent. They must get Agent from not the App Store, but the HCS Apps container. That's the only way to make sure that everything gets connected with your domain. So do not download AirWatch MDM from the App Store. You have to get it from HCS Apps. They have that. They want to make sure that when they click on it, they should have 3 green checks. And this is loading right now. That's because the teacher's already done it. You want to make sure that you have those 3 green checks. If anything pops up about enabling notifications or your services, it must be able to find you. If that's still not working, and if it's just spinning and spinning and spinning, you can go into your settings on your iPad and go to privacy and make sure your location services are on. And not so much even that, but make sure Agent is always right here. And what they'll do, that's just going to help you find your iPad, and heaven forbid your iPad ever gets stolen. So I'm now going to be the teacher, and I'm going to go to Teach. And this teacher's already created his first class. And you can see the teacher's name up there, so thank you so much, Sean, for helping me out in doing this video. So I'm going to make up a class. You can see his first one is right here, and now I'm going to hit the plus. And what I recommended is that everyone has the same naming convention for a school whenever they start to show this. And you would think that you could start typing up here right at top and start coming up the name of your class. That's not going to be able to be done. What you have to do is you have to actually create it on the bottom. So if I were to search right here for some keywords, I can click on Search Existing Classes, maybe Math. See if there's a Math one comes up. Okay, so there's some other names of teachers that have already created this for me. And this is showing backwards in my screen because it's a mirrored image, so hopefully you're seeing the correct way. But you can see some of those are pre-existing already. I could search for one and rename it if I already done it, but in this case, I'm going to make one up from scratch. So I need to hit the word on the bottom, and I'm going to give it a unique class name. And I'm going to say, and let's say I start off with subject, so I would do art. then I would do dash, and then I would do my name. And for the last one, I would do the period. Whatever you want to do for your school, maybe you want to do the number 1 ST, or maybe you want to do FIRST. Whatever you want to do, just make sure it's consistent, because all your children are going to have to find this out the hard way. So I'm going to just do mine as a test. Let's go write test after school. That's what I'm doing in this video, test after school. And then you get to pick one of these icons that you want. So I'm going to pick a rocket ship. Now I'm going to hit done. So now I have 2 classes. The teacher has to click on the class, and they won't get their students into it. So I'm ready to start my class now. It's about 9 o'clock or so, and I'm ready to pick up my first class and get it going. So I'm going to start that class, and you can see right now there are no students in it. So this is where I would tell my children the first time I'm using it that they need to open up AirWatch Learn, and they're going to search for my class. So I'm going to get that kid's iPad ready to go. I'm going to unlock it. Okay, and I already got Learn up and ready to go. And just like the teacher hit the plus to create, the children hit the plus to search. And they have to just search for that class. And it's pretty specific. You don't have to even be spot on. You can search for just for teacher's name. I had art in mind. I'm probably the only one in the school that has that name. So I'm going to do ART. And there's instantly my class that came up. They hit that class name. And then they hit done. And there it goes. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my teacher iPad, and you can see that I'm not in there yet. You don't see that kid's name. So I just have to pull down and let it refresh. Just give it a second to think. Okay, it's thinking, it's refreshing. Let's see, I know she get it. Oh, there's that student just populated. You can see he's kind of grayed out right now. And what I need to do, let's see if I can prop this up the old-fashioned way, is I'm going to start joining that class. So the child needs to actually click on the class. So he's going to click on Mine Now. So there's nothing available for me to do. And if you didn't notice, this color got a little bit darker. Before it was kind of like ghost and faded out. Now it's more of a solid color because I've joined this session. Okay, so now that I'm actually in the class, I can start controlling my content for my kids. And the first thing I would want to do is I'm going to hit the folder icon, and I'm going to add a website by hitting the plus button. Now I have 2 options. If you have the iOS of 8.0 or later, you can upload a file, but it takes forever to upload even the smallest file. So probably the better thing to do would be to just add the website of Google Classroom in there and post your file on there. So I'm going to add website. Then I have this option to type it in. By default, that little HTTP is there, and most people forget to delete that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go on Safari right now, and I'm going to type in a website address. So I'm going to hit my home button. I'm going to go in Safari. And I'm going to type up top, classroom.google.com. Okay. Oh, so this is at the the little app screen right here, telling me to join the session, and we want to make sure that it goes to the right thing. So I'm just going to copy it right now, or maybe I should just do a different site altogether. Maybe I'll just do Google. So I don't want that to go to the sign-in screen. Okay, Google. All right. So you're going to be locked into Google, let's say. I'm going to hit the little square with the arrow arrow up in the upper right corner there, and you hit copy. There's a little sheet over the sheet. Okay, now that website address is copied for me. Using 4 fingers, you can swipe back to that app. You want to hit the little X, so it deletes the pre-existing HTTP. Hold your finger down, double tap, down first. Okay, and paste. Okay, so there's Google. It automatically populated Google for me in the name. You might have to type it in. Now, if I wanted to add another website, I would hit add another. Then I hit done. Oh, let's make me add a title, even though it's there. So I'll put Google. Done. Okay. So I can add another website, do this again, but I got it in. So now Google is one of my websites that I would use all the time to lock my students in. I'm going to add that up. And what should just happened while I added that website was back on my student iPad, that website is now available. So this home screen, if the kids aren't locked in, it's essentially kind of like a bunch of shortcuts to websites that you can get to really, really fast. And this is how I can lock them in. If I just tap it, I can preview it, which I don't want to do right now. What I want to do is I'm going to hit my folder, and I'm going to lock the student into it. In order to lock, you have to select. Now, if I had multiple students in here, I would hit that little check mark next to the word done and it gets everybody. Or if you want to do some small group instruction, you can hit that one student's name. My fingers are kind of fat. Or you can poke the square. Okay? So the student's checked. Now I'm going to have some options. App lock, website lock, file, attention, unlock. I'm going to hit website lock. There's that website we put in. Now you have some options here on the bottom. If you did set clock, let's say that can be my class ended at 2:45, so 2:45, that's going to let them back in. Keep lock would be they're going to be locked into that website until I determine when they can get out. Or I can do a timer. Let's say I'm doing blended learning station and at a particular time I want them to be going wherever they want. Okay, so I pick that website. I'm going to go with keep locked. That globe icon means that that student is now locked. And there it goes. It automatically did it. Now you can see here, hopefully, if I hit my home button, I can't even get out of it. If you, here's a little troubleshooting trick I found out. If you find that you just have a white screen, or the kids are able to get out of it by hitting the home button or the power button, then a trick is to just click that one kid, unlock them. Once you get unlocked, it should go right back to that yellow screen again in a second. So now I can hit that again. So now we got the website feature. Good. Here's the student's app screen. Any app that's in the HCS apps container, I can lock the student into. So now I'm ready to use the app lock. Check his name again. I'm going to go to app lock. And I get this little catalog preview of all the apps. If there's an app on here, if there's an app in the catalog that's not in the child's iPad, I'd like to show you what that says. So here's Google Classroom. I lock them into Google Classroom. Again, you have set clock, keep lock. I'm going to go keep locked. And you can see right here it says guided access. That's because that app is not on that child's iPad. So you would have to unlock that student again click on their name, unlock them, tell them that they would have to go to the HSS apps container and download that one app. And notice they went away again. Let's see what happens if I lock him into an app he does have. Check his name, app lock. Okay, and let's see what we got. Okay, I see Adobe Readers on there. Adobe Acrobat. Pick Adobe Acrobat. By the way, you can only lock them into one app. If I try clicking on multiple ones, you can't. So you have to think about how you want to plan your lesson for the day with this. So I'm going to pick Adobe, keep locked. Let's give it a second, and there it's opened up. Okay. Now I'm going to click the student again and unlock. But sometimes the app closes. Sometimes the kids won't even know that they can get out of it. But it will be. So in fact, I'm going to leave this one open. Now I'm going to say, okay, you're going on to your next station. You're ready to go into your next file. Now I want to put you into, let's see, hopefully they have Poplet. Now Poplet opens up. If I hit my home button, I'm hitting my home button here and it's not letting me get out of the app. I have to be in this app until my teacher tells me to get out of it. So I'm ready to end that. Click the student's name. I unlock. Once I'm unlocked, see it's guided access mode. Just takes about 30 seconds max delay. Okay, so now I can do whatever I want on the iPad again. Say time goes by. The teacher needs to get everyone's attention. Pick the student's name. Now you do attention. You have two options. I have a hard time getting this one to go. You don't know that there's a black box around it, but I just did. And now I'm going to do done. That little teal exclamation point means I'm getting you to try and pay attention. And it says all lines up front. If you went back to that screen, you had the option to make your own picture. Upload your own image if you wanted to. And since attention's away, you can get back. There's that website again. That's, again, my shortcut. The downside of these shortcuts, these little websites you have to put in, you have to add it in for each class. So I would recommend if you were to do Alex, copy that website, go into your next class, do it again. Go through all of them. Okay, so we did an app lock, we did a website lock. I'm not going to worry about file, attention, unlock. Add another folder. Done. Now this is very important. Whenever you're done for the day, you always want to dismiss class. Dismiss class is another way of just unlocking everyone. So we're going to go back into app lock again. Maybe this time we're going to lock them into notes and keep locked. Okay, the app lock is over. Notes is going to open up. Now, if you don't dismiss class and these students go on to the next class with their iPad, it's going to be worthless. So you need to make sure that you always dismiss class when you're supposed to at the appropriate time. So I'm going to hit dismiss class now. Hit OK. Now the teacher's back to this screen. And it looks like the kids won't know it, so they actually have to be told to hit the home button. They can get out. Okay. Now I made up this class before. Maybe I typed the wrong thing. I can hit select. I can hit the pencil. I can rename it to something else that I did. I can delete it, which is what I'm going to do in a little bit, but before I delete it, I need to make sure that I kick that student out. So this one student, he really doesn't belong here. We just did it for practice. So I'm going to pick that one student. They have this battery life indicator. It's not always 100% accurate, but I need to make sure that the student is no longer in here associated. So I'm going to drop them from my class. And then yes, students drop. This is also good if a student moves to another school. So now this class is done. I dismissed the class. I hit OK. I still have my class in there, and it still thinks I have one student. I wonder if I pull down here to refresh, it would say no. Okay, so I need to just delete it. So I'm going to select it, pick that one, trash can, yes. That's done. So that is basically AirWatch Teach and AirWatch Learn in a nutshell. It's a very handy little tool. It's going to help you out with your blended learning stations that you can do. Lock the kids into an app, lock them into a couple websites. Again, that's a app or a series of websites. So you have to think about how you want to arrange and plan your lessons. You can set it up so that the kids only have 5 websites to go to. You saw before when I did that website lock, you can do multiple ones, and that's the only 5 websites that they can go to. So you got to think about how you want to arrange your lessons, how you want to share the info with them, how you want to arrange your stations. Do you want to use a timer? Do you want to use a clock? Don't forget that you want to lock them. It's an excellent tool. I will post the directions in the description in this YouTube video, so if you can go back and watch them again if you missed out how to do it. And yeah, I hope you get to use AirWatch Teach with your students this year and really help get that small group instruction done with your students. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you all then.